Knoxville.
We've got a freaking great show for you today. A freaking great show. Unbelievable, Andy. I mean, it's unbelievable, Andy. Tony Vitello, the Eagle, will land today. Right on top of you in just a few minutes. We'll talk with Tony. And Sean Sinclair, if the early indications are any indication, Tennessee is getting after it. They're rolling their sleeves up, and they're going hard in that transfer portal.
Well, I really think they need to. And first of all, I congratulate the Vols, and I would say this if you allow to Coach that what a great season, what a great collection of memories. We tend to look at this baseball program with the standard that was set last year, and that's impossible. If you take a look at the rest of the nation, we outperform. I mean, we get to super regionals. No team made Omaha this year that was there last year. Incredible season, not what we wanted, but incredible. But you take a look at his success. 3 of his 4 college transfers made first-team All-American by perfect game. Doyle, pitcher of the year, Fisher and Gavin Keelan were named first-team All-Americans. And I heard Coach last year or earlier this year talk about how because of winning the championship, because of the celebration, because of some other things, they weren't able to hit it, the transfer market like they would like to have last year, and because of just time in the calendar. And so I really look forward to this. I don't follow football recruiting much more, but my love for portal recruiting has taken over.
Portal's where it's at, man.
If they can get that ETSU kid that throws like I sat there and watched. I mean, thinking back to Kent Colvey.
You loved him, Cinco. You shouted him out the next day. You came on here and shouted him out.
That guy spellbounded our potent offense. So if we can get him, and I think he's a Bearden kid.
Yes, he is.
Wow. You mentioned yesterday, I think I listened to your show. I was listening to your show whether I'm on or not, but as Bino said, for the past 30 years. But you were talking about the high velo kids. I don't know I don't have a problem with the high velo. That's okay, but our high velo guys don't get much movement. And I think that's why you saw Nate Snead and Tanner Franklin give up a lot of 2-strike hits. They're 100 miles an hour on the 4th or 5th pitch of an at-bat. These kids can turn that around if you don't have a lot of movement. So
yep.
I don't know if we need a bunch of junk pitchers, and that's not a disrespectful intended adjective there. But I think we need a lot of pitchers that can move the ball around. You think of Kevin Cobbs, you think of Kirby Cannell,
yep.
You think of back to Redmond Walsh, you think of Sean Hunley. None of those guys could bring it in the upper 90s, but they just sat there and just toyed with you.
I was talking to the great Berkey yesterday, and he said every one of these SEC teams should have a couple of those guys on their team just for a change of pace, and I think he's right. So we're going to get into that today. We're going to talk with Tony, and I'm going to really celebrate Tony's season with him. Tony he's not doing much media, and he told us, he said, look, I got 15 minutes, so he'll come back when the portal's over like we did last year and visit with us for like an hour. But suffice it to say, I want to congratulate him, but I want to talk to him at this 34 scholarship thing because I want to understand where we're going. My understanding right now is, as of yesterday, they didn't have a number that they know they're allowed to bring into camp. I don't know how you're supposed to execute any of these sports when you don't have hard numbers, because this is about numbers. So we'll do that with him, and just get into a few other odds and ends with him. Just kind of ask him about some of the lessons they learned this year. Hey, you know how competitive that sport is? And we had an email from a guy that I ran today in the blog who said, look, it's like 79 days till football season, and I'm still in baseball mode. And that's kind of where I'm at. This football season, for whatever reason, has the least amount of buzz. I shouldn't be admitting this on the air because it's a big generator of our revenue, but I deal in the truth. Okay, I'd like to see Danny White's 15,000 seat waiting list. No offense to him, and Sean knows it doesn't jibe. It does not jibe with the amount of people out there not talking about our football program. It does not jibe with that, Danny.
You're being generous. There is no buzz.
Thank you.
It's not.
I don't
limited
ever
buzz.
remember,
There
Sean.
is no
I don't
buzz.
ever remember an off season this buzzless. Okay, I don't, and I don't know whether it was getting whacked by, and we can talk about this after Tony gets off, getting whacked by Ohio State, the lack of portal activity, the lack of stars on the team, because everybody likes stars. Everybody likes a star. See, the thing you know about Rick Barnes' team this year, they're putting a top-flight, high-level NBA draft pick on the floor. The year before that, one of the great scorers in the college game who could score from anywhere. The year before that, one of the great jumpers and leapers that could score from anywhere. And so the three sports we really pay attention to here have stars, and the football team doesn't have stars on it. But other than that, I mean, in a league full of stars. In a league full of stars. So I don't know whether it was the whole exhaustion, whether it's the whole exhaustion from the Polynesian prince and the high chief leaving, in the dark of night to, go back closer to Polynesia. No offense to Polynesia. I love the Polynesians. Like yesterday, somebody called in, I think it was Rusty, and shouted out Keenan Peely. I love that guy. For him, not against him. For him. And I love those kids. I love that culture. But I don't know whether it was the Polynesian prince leaving in the dark of night with the high chief. I don't know whether it's the Sean. I don't ever remember an off season this buzzless. Hey, thank God for the baseball portal, because we're going to get people on to talk about these guys that are coming in, and then there's also you got June. June is a period where, and we're going to do some stuff over on the blog at tclub.team, because we got some great insiders in hoops talking about the nitty gritty of what's going on in the basketball program. We're going to give it to you, how guys are looking, because they get a month with the coach, with the team, and we dropped one last week. We're going to drop another one here in a couple days over at tclub.team, where you find us every day. And there's a couple thousand words over there today. But the guy emailed me and said, hey, I love college football. We're 89 days, whatever he said, we're 80-some days away. He said, ordinarily, I'm counting down the days. He said, and I'm still in baseball mode. He said, what in the world's happened to me? You know what happened to you is what happened to all of us, which I'm going to talk to Tony about here in a little bit. We got used to thinking it's our birthright to play in Omaha. The two times that we haven't gotten there in the last 5 years, one was that shocking Sunday against Notre Dame, and then last weekend. The difference is, last weekend, we all saw that coming. We all saw that coming. Some of us might have wanted to convince ourselves that was not going to happen. We all saw that coming. But, Sean, you work with the general public in dentistry, and people know that you're on here, and they know you're very sports minded. How much buzz is there in your inner circle around this football deal right now?
There isn't a lot. In fact, I will say this, and I don't want to. I'm not a negative Nancy. A lot of people and my buddies that we go to games with, we tailgate with, we've spent 30 plus years agonizing over every little article and flip of the switch of a recruiting. A lot of my friends feel a little gaslit about this whole deal. What I mean by that is that, like you said, I don't have any problem with getting blown up by Ohio State. Ohio State did blow out everybody. They're on a different trajectory than a lot of other programs, and I get that. Because they have nothing else in the athletic department that I can tell. But nonetheless, you mentioned it. I don't think you were an alarmist. I think you were just reporting the relative lack of activity in the portal, while a lot of other teams loaded up, teams that we will play, teams that were competing with us for that spot in the playoff last year. We heard that, that this NIL budget was spent mainly on this incoming recruiting class. A quick scan of On3 shows that we put a lot of money into the 11th ranked class in the nation, which comes in at 8th in the SEC. Hard to convince fans that you're moving up when Florida with a lame duck coach, LSU with a perennial underachiever, Auburn with can't do anything, with a coach that's on the sick bed, Texas A&M, another perennial do nothing. We're all ahead of you in those rankings. That's a hard swallow.
Yep.
And then the big thing is you can like it or not, but no matter how much hopium you're smoking, I've never met anybody that doesn't think we took a deficit in the quarterback switch.
Tony Vall's on the other side. So, yeah, we'll talk about all that because Tony Vall's on the other side after this. To Danny White, I'm for you, not against you. I think you're exactly right with what you and Donde Plowman are saying about how we need to quit this sham mockery thing we got going right now with the House settlement. You guys are leading out front on that. I would like to see your 15,000 waiting list. I don't believe that. No offense. Just no offense as we continue with more after this.
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team start at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our tryouts last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Listen up, baseball fans. It's time to step up to the plate and get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Don't you dare swing and miss by shopping elsewhere. Alumni Hall has the best selection, top brands for you to choose from. Shop in store, 3 Knoxville locations, or Bristol or Murfreesboro. Anytime, online, anywhere in the world at alumnihall.com. Come grab your Tennessee baseball jerseys. Incredible. Oh, Coach Vitello jersey, hats, decals, t-shirts, and so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 spent. Shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Go Vols from Alumni Hall. Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy, That's you.
Wow, I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. K to the B back with you as we welcome you back. I got to get him on here because he's got, look, just during, and I was talking to Tony Vitello off the air, he's got somebody in there shooting a photo with him. He said, besides the fact that we got a ton of visitors on campus today, I got a bunch of exit interviews we're doing, and I said, Tony, what the hell are you doing appearing on the TLD Logistics Hotline? And Tony, the answer is, what are you doing today on the show?
I told you I'm not too good at saying no. And then also, if we're going to do it, we might as well knock it out. I think it was a good season. There was a lot of highlights.
Yep.
I'm not stupid. There were some lowlights, but
yes.
it is time to move on. And last year, one thing that was difficult was there was no move on. The
Yep.
celebrating, because of our fan base
Yep.
and because it was a great team, the celebrating and recognition stuff went on forever. And if our team gets applause for anything this past year, it's those kids handled that like champs because
Yep.
half of them weren't a part of it, but they had to sit there and listen to it or take part of it. And they did not make it a distraction. And again, we weren't without flaws and would have liked to have gotten our 50 wins,
Yep.
if not more.
Yep.
But they did a good job of handling that, and we came out of the gates playing good ball.
Tony Vitello, a part of our World Championship Wednesday, presented by our friends at Rather and Kittrell, online at rkcapital.com. Chris Kittrell out there in center field at the porch as he's been forever and ever and ever and ever. Shout out to him. And so, Tone, moving along here, congratulations, man, on that year. You know, the thing you've done here is you've spoiled people. We were talking about getting to the World Series 3 in the last 5 years. The one time you guys didn't go was that shocking result against Notre Dame. And then this year, you could kind of see it coming. But in your sport, man, nobody that got there last year, not even like winning it, but nobody that even got there got back. That's an incredible sport right now, the balance in that deal.
It's different. And when I grew up, you saw Miami, you saw actually Wichita State. You kind of saw Florida State. You saw USC. You saw the same teams all the time. And somewhere along that deal, it started to change a little bit, but it's still evolving now to where there truly is a bunch of teams that have a chance to make it. And if you're there, you got a pretty dang good chance of winning it. So there's just so many different things that can happen when arms are moving and with bats. And then the landscape has changed with our sport, unlike basketball that had 4 number 1 seeds in the Final Four, where 1 or 2 guys can make a difference. You got to have a whole lineup. And sometimes like a Murray State group, they just got a bunch of older physical guys with a bunch of repetitions. And those guys can play better than a superstar freshman that doesn't have as much experience and isn't as full grown into his body as those guys.
We saw that with some of your kids this year. You know, they kind of went through it. Some found it, lost it, found it, I mean, it's such a brutal, brutal game. Give me a couple lessons, Tone, because one thing I like about you, you've always been extremely honest down through the years. Give me a couple lessons, just big picture, you take from this season.
I think from this season, it's a lot of personal stuff you want to get better at. I think, you know, any missing ingredients that were there will be motivated to add those, whereas last year, like I said, there was a lot of hang-up. But to more directly answer your question, I think you have to be in control of your emotions. And this year it was different. Instead of it being the real loud and too fiery or that guy's cocky, it was some guys that were too emotional over their own performance and, you know, would beat themselves up or lose composure or, you know, lose the next at bat or the next pitch they throw would not be as effective because they're hung up on what took place in the past. So I think every team, I need to get better at a lot of things, but by the time you're about the end of the fall, you pick up on your team's personality and you kind of give them a heads up. I think one lesson is when we recognize stuff in the fall, we got to attack it a little bit more in the spring, and whether that makes a difference or not, I don't know, but it's hard to put your finger on one simple thing, but there's a lot of things that have been written down about this year that we'd like to do better next year.
Well, you had told me before, hey, our you know, it's almost like it's hard to put into words, but it's almost like you guys in spots needed to be a little edgier than you were. I don't know if that makes any sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think there was one series in particular that I'll keep to myself where it kind of rattled me a little bit mentally, and that particular weekend was just different. I was used to our guys like Evan Russell taking a stand in certain situations and having an edge to them and putting a stop to things, but it just wasn't in these guys' nature, and I think we quit trying to press that button, and it's one of the things that helped us down the stretch play really good baseball. It's just the one thing about this team is the only thing that was going to stop them, you know, I don't think you could say we'd shoot ourselves in the foot as much as, you know, the media would want to. I mean, some of the mistakes we made were based off the personnel that we had out there. It was just the only thing that was going to stop us was top 5 teams. And we just, whether it was we needed more edge or we needed a few better bullpen options or this or that, or maybe a few less freshmen that are main players for us, it was the top 5 teams in the country were going to stop us, but nothing else was going to. And that's why our non-conference record was really good. It's why we could win games on the road. It's why we were able to make it to the final 16 teams in the country. And it's frustrating. We're working hard. The kid we have on the visit today, we think can put us to where no one can stop us but us. But this year, I think a fact was it was on certain occasions, if it was a real good club, that's what would beat us.
Well, you mentioned just today in the visits, and we're starting to see you linked with so many people like right away. How much of an edge is it to get that extra couple of weeks? Because last year, I remember you telling us on here, look, you talked to me when you were on the way to the Cape Cod League, and you were on here for like 45 minutes. You like, in your terms, hey, I got a bunch of windshield time. Today you got 15 minutes for us, which I totally understand, and I appreciate you doing that. But how much of an edge is it, T, to get that extra, say, couple of weeks while some of these other people are still occupied?
Yeah, last year sucked. It just did, and we struck gold with Gav and Liam and Fish. I think that combo deal with those 2 kids was very unique. If that doesn't happen, you know, this conversation is a little more depressing, I think. But being where we can have kids see our campus is huge, and timing is everything. So it's going to help. You're in a better position because you can focus all your energy into one thing, but it doesn't assure you that you're going to get the guys you want. And then sometimes you get the guys you want, you don't know how it's going to go. And the one thing that we can brag about and be proud of is the guys we have brought in from the portal. Every single one of them has played significantly and every single one of them has improved their statistics and their personal status, meaning the draft. And even a guy like Griffin Merritt goes off, and he's about to make a ton of money doing something else we helped him get a job with. So we've done really well with that, and we're bragging about it to these kids that are visiting. But we're probably going to be more aggressive in the portal than we've ever been. I think one thing that people don't realize is, they complain we lose to this team or that team on a Sunday. Well, this team or that team loaded up on a lot more portal guys, or maybe they beat us. We faced a pitcher on a Sunday in Lindsey Nelson Stadium where he flat out got offered twice the amount of money he probably could have got from us, or whatever the legal way it is to say it without BS. So he chose the other place.
Hey, T, you were talking about Griffin Merritt. We had him on right before the regional here, and he told me off the air, because we helped him get a couple of tickets for his uncle, because his uncle is now a big Tennessee fan and wanted to come in and see the action. And I talked to that kid off the air, and he's studying to be a dentist at Ohio State, and that is one impressive. I'm talking about impressive young man. Let me ask you this. So in their infinite wisdom, the NCAA's capped you guys at 34, but it's 34 full scholarships. I called you when I first saw that, and I said, man, that's great. You said, Basilio, you're stupid. You said, you
didn't
said,
say that. But
you said no.
Maybe I alluded to that.
You said no offense. You said, but that's idiotic. 34. He said, explain to people, Tone, why 34 in your mind is not a workable number, and that's a hard cap of 34, which means it's 34 max. And let me ask you this: last year when you had Sieber, who got hurt, and then you had Russell, who was hurt but you knew was going to play, would those guys have counted against the 34 this year? Would you have had to carry them if this was last season?
Anson would have been a little bit of a wild card. I don't even know the answer, because we have two really good arms that we signed, and we're worried about losing them in the draft, like Anson, and they have just got Tommy John surgery. So I literally don't know what their scholarship situation is or what their countable roster situation is. But those are obviously two guys we want on our campus. And then AJ, any chance of us having like a third starter that, and again, Teagan, I think is, I think he's going to be in the big leagues. I think he's going to be a big time pitcher for us. But as a freshman, he quite wasn't ready to take the reins for 5 or 6 innings on Sundays. And that affected bullpen decisions, confidence, how series finished for us, just maybe being a little short in that area. And A.J. Russell could have been that, but somewhere along then, his family just decided let's chill a little bit and take a little bit of time off. Well, if they would have decided let's chill and take time off all the way to the draft, we would have used a spot on A.J. and would have got any benefit of that. And now you're down to 33, and Anson's hurt, so now you're down to 32. And so ultimately I think 34 is fine, but to go from inflated COVID rosters to 34 all of a sudden is nonsensical. But what's going to be even tougher is, let's say we're at 34, but we have 3 guys signed in the draft we didn't expect. Now you're at 31. Or if you watch your butt a little better and you're at 37 because you think you might lose these 3 guys to the draft, but you don't. Now it's August 1st, and you got to call a family, and this is a strong possibility. We got to call a family August 1st. Oh, don't get in the car in 2 weeks and move into the dorm because we don't have a spot for you.
So 34 is the number, but at every baseball camp in America, we know in the fall, you have to make the team. I mean, it's just kind of the way it is. Two concerns, okay? With 34, and I was talking with Will Heflin about this, but how are you going to be able to thread the needle? Because you got to get these showcase kids. As you're playing SEC baseball, you got to get these guys that, have pro ball aspirations, but there's got to be a mix in there. The guys like the Ensleys, the Evan Russells, the Kirby Cannells, the Redmond Walshes, the Camden Sewells, the Cal Stark from the World Series team. How do you thread the needle? And you have to thread the needle. You need some of those, what we call like glue guys or grinders, because I know you believe in a mix. How do you do that when you're limited to 34 now?
I don't know. I think that's one thing we're trying to figure out. Can we, keep with the grandfather rule that's supposedly in and all this? Can we scale this back to where maybe we got a few more guys in that because they're glue guys for us, or important leadership guys, or might even provide an edge? Like, you always want to look at numbers and data and figure out how can you get an edge against Arkansas or LSU,
right,
or anybody else. So I don't know. And, 34 also, I hadn't thought about this till our conversation right now. One thing when we first got the job here, and part of it was just because there was a change in coaching staffs, is it was too easy to wear our uniform, whether it would be on the team or travel, or for that matter, even start. And I don't know. As we talk, and maybe I'll say something dumb, I don't like the idea of you're automatically on the team, and even if you misbehave, they're not going to want to get rid of you because they don't have enough guys on the bench to do what you do, or to provide depth. So I like the concept of you got to work for what you get. And there's a delicate balance there. You don't want, kids to not be valued, or to be used as pawns or chess pieces. But yeah, you're 34. If that's the way it is you're 34, and any man you lose because he wants to quit, or you yelled at him and he's mad at you, or he gets injured, you're one step closer to not having enough.
What should the number be, Tony? If 34 is not the number.
I think 40 this year would be
40.
Reasonable.
Just to give you a chance to ramp it down? Just to give you like a chance to ramp it down?
Yeah, and then I think, if you could still recruit walk-ons and have 3 or 4 guys, obviously they got to be okay with, hey, if no one gets injured,
right,
no one leaves at semester because they don't like me, you got to be okay with the fact that you may not have a roster spot. And
right,
there's certain kids that I would have been willing to take that risk because I wanted to be at a big school like this, and I knew I wanted to coach, so I wanted to be at a high level too. So I was willing to sacrifice playing time. There's some kids that's in their DNA, and or they want to bet on themselves and they think something will happen. So, I think having some wiggle room in the future of at least 36 or 38, where it helps you scrimmage in the fall more, I think it's more reasonable. But I don't think anyone cares what my opinion is.
Well,
and I don't know if they should.
No, I think they should, and I think the thing's interesting because when you start talking about it, in theory, the 34 sounds great until you start thinking about, like, look at Texas A&M this year, 4, 5, 6 injuries. You're down to 29 players.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
And then you got midweek games. You're already stressing pitchers at that level as it is, right? How do you get through a season? One of our guys yesterday, Matt Dixon, smart guy, he said a lot of these kids pitch and play the outfield or pitch when they're kids. Will we see some of those guys chew up innings?
We're hoping to get one here, in Cruz Schoolcraft, who's, one of the top players in the country by far, and he can hit and pitch. And he certainly would be a big swing man if we can avoid losing him in the first round. So I think you'll see a little more of it, but not a ton. There's definitely some value to that. But, yeah, I think, Coach Simcox, and great dude, and Delmonico had it going on. And, of course, Coach Serrano, even, and maybe at the beginning of his career, the numbers used to be smaller, but that's because guys like R.A. Dickey were throwing 130 pitches and then coming back and relieving a few days later. And, nowadays we had a very rare staff where those guys were willing to bounce back. But most of the SEC weekends, the other team did not recycle a reliever one time. They would use a guy one time, and then that would be it. And so the way kids throw these days and how hard they throw, injuries are more likely.
It's unreal.
And they're less likely to want to take the ball, kind of old school style, Nolan Ryan style, and throw, an amount of pitches that you'd see in the 80s or 90s.
Does that Doyle kid realize what a legend he is here?
I don't think so. And, I kind of visited with him. He got to be so lovable and he has such a bright future. I got to be where maybe I was too soft or, and I'm no saint. You know that off and on the air.
You're a maniac.
But you kind of wanted to protect him from himself almost.
Right.
And, would like to go out and go back in time and let the kid go out on his shield, even though I think the fact he threw the way he did on Monday probably depleted him a little bit
Yes.
for the next weekend.
Yes.
He couldn't throw his normal bullpen, but I don't know if he does. I'll tell you this. We had an exit meeting with him, and what he said choked me up like no other. He went to Coastal Carolina. He went to Mississippi, and then he came to us. And he said the one thing he got out of coming here, he said he loved every minute, and obviously Frank got him better, and he's going to make a lot of money. But he said, what I had been searching for this whole time is a place I can call home. And this is a place that I can call home. And so that's something to me that should elevate that legendary status with the fan base or the community, because he's been in some good spots. I mean, Coastal is an Omaha national champion team. So is Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
They're both great places, but for whatever reason, this clicked for him, and you know what he was willing to do with his arm instead of sitting out and saying, hey, I'm going to get drafted in the first round. I don't need to be doing this stupid stuff. He was wanting to do more than we would let him do.
Tony, that's not common, is it? I mean, for a kid that knows he's going to be a top 5 pick to say, I want the ball, like, what was your response to that?
Well, a lot of times, you know, you'd have to calm him down because he wouldn't come to you and say it like a businessman. He'd come to you and tell you like he was Al Wilson and ready to go out on the field and tackle somebody.
Yes.
Just always so energized and you know, true self-belief too, and not kind of a facade or a deal where he's trying to make himself look good. Like it was real. And those are fun conversations, and I'm going to miss, you know, this portal thing is good and bad, but man, to only do that for 9 or 10 months with that kid is depressing. So who knows? Maybe we raise a glass sometime down the road or go see one of his outings. But he's special, and anyone who, you know, badmouth him at any point because he gets fired up on, I'm sure, social media post stuff. If they met him for 2 seconds, they would love him as a kid, and then we'd all kill to have him on our team, no matter what sport it is.
Hunter Ensley said that they were sitting in the dugout. He said, and after he, you know, yelled at that kid to get in the effing box, he said, they said, hey, Doyle, you know, you were screaming at him. He goes, I don't even remember doing that. Like, this guy is so, like, in the moment and, like, out of body and so into it on that Monday night, which, AT, on the way out, again, Griffin Merritt told me this. He said, I played ball at Cincinnati for 4 years. I'm from there. He said, but I'm a Tennessee fan now. He said, and you know, he came down to that regional because both his teams, you know, we're playing here, which is unique. He said, my uncle is a pure Tennessee fan now. He said, I don't think we see that in the portal era. I don't know that fans understand that, the impact that this place can have on kids after just 1 year. It gives me kind of chills thinking about it. But he was telling me that off the air, Tony. That was not an on-the-air thing. That was like, he didn't have to tell me that. He was like, yeah, my uncle is driving down, driving back, and then driving back. And I was like, does your uncle need a place to stay? You know, I was like, I was feeling bad for his uncle. But the truth is, and you know this is a pretty damn special place. I mean, it just is.
It is, and I think in our particular sport, you know, Rick is able to somehow do his position and yet still be the brotherly and fatherly figure for kids.
Yep.
I kind of miss the old days of being a recruiting coordinator. I got to make decisions, and some of them are stupid and some good, bad. And I'm a little bit removed. The support staff, like our strength coach and the assistants and just everyone involved in our program, hell, Hot Sauce coming around the program, Hochaver, they make these kids feel like home is not away from here. It's here. Just their parents happen to be in another place when they're not here on game day. And I think they initiate and kickstart that vibe. But yeah, the fan base and the community, that was the first thing I said when I got hired is everyone will know how it was. It's welcoming community. So the thing I said in the presser trying to coach in me was just everybody, even the voices on Twitter, first of all, some of them are bots.
Twidiots. They're called Twidiots, Tony. They're Twidiots.
Well, yeah, and that's 7 or 8 people, but they get the loudest voice. Even those guys, take a deep breath and reflect on 2024, 2025 academic school year and look what went on in this university
Amen.
And on this campus and realize how freaking good you have it. And if you want it to be better, which if you're an SEC fan or you're a competitor, you want it to be better. It wouldn't have mattered if football, basketball, it wouldn't matter if softball would have finished it off and we're in Omaha right now. You're still going to want it better if you're a true competitor. If you want it to be better, then help don't hurt. And, that probably fall on deaf ears other than me and you agreeing about it, but recognize how freaking good you have it, and that'll help make it better.
Here's an idea.
Also, if you want it,
well,
go ahead.
Tony, here's an idea. Why don't we just attack Chipper Jones? So you have to call him and say, hey, man, no harm, no foul here. How about those people, Tony?
The only reason I know about that is because our strength coach forgot that I don't look at any of that crap. So I offered to talk to Chipper right away.
Right.
And,
right.
We that's been worked out behind
the scenes. It's idiotic. Tony, it's idiotic. It's counterproductive. He's not even talking about us. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is this is Braves country, brother. And also you've come here and spoke. You've come here and spoke at the Boys and Girls Club and Todd Helton and also. I mean,
what are we doing? The guy's a Hall of Famer. Right. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, everybody's opinion is everyone is now Siskel and Ebert, whether it's a movie or not, and some people don't even know who Siskel and Ebert is, but everybody has the ability to be that person. And so, and then the things that are negative get the loudest voice. So that's why I don't look at any of that stuff. And last night I'm trying to go to sleep, and this guy sends me a message. He's actually the guy that helped us get Garrett Crochet. So trust me, I like the guy. But he went with he was trying to be nice to me and compliment great season, but he led with, don't worry about people that said this or that. And I'm like, I didn't know anyone said that until you frickin' told me. So I'm just sharing.
I love stuff like that. Hey, Tony,
the only stuff that I hear that's negative, I'm more negative to me than anybody ever could be. And then the next negative thing is the scoreboard. Like, you can't say anything that's worse than the scoreboard if it's what it was the other day. But it's so funny. The only thing I get that's negative are the people that are supposed to be my friends or at times are acting like they're my friends, but they're including these little nuggets like the but and the if and never mind this. And I'm like, well, I didn't know about this until you just told me. It's kind of funny.
Hey, T, your boy from St. Louis, I ran into him at Calhoun's on the river, and he's like, I looked at him and I said, you look like you're about as intense as Tony. I said, I bet you guys back in the day were two absolute psychos out in the yard beating on each other. He told me a great story about Doyle. I want to corroborate this. He said, so the first go-around, and we can all talk about this now because we're adults, and this is just a fun kind of aside for Tennessee baseball history, but he said it kind of came down to him and that Holman kid who ended up at LSU, and you guys got to make decisions in real time. Which one am I going to go, which one can we get, which blah, blah, blah. And he was telling me that, so you guys decided on Holman, and they kind of slow played you and ended up somewhere else. And this stuff happens all the time in recruiting. It is what it is, and you can't let hard feelings be hard feelings because it is what it is. He says the Doyle guy is such a competitor and such a nut that when you played him, he was so on his game that he, like, during the game is over there, like, screaming at you. And you tell your buddy, hey, we got to – I love this guy. Like, most coaches would be like – I can't stand this SOB. He's screaming at me. You're sitting there going, oh, man, there was my guy.
Yeah.
We could have had him for a couple years. Can you elaborate if that's true or not? Just tell me if that's true.
Yeah, ironically, the guy, Matt Dallas, who's at Wake Forest now, is a left-handed prospect. We like the kid. I think he's a good pitcher, and I didn't even want him to leave here, but I don't think he got along with his teammates that great. Because we had him potentially getting drafted, we didn't want to upset him, and this was a group decision I was a part of. It was a bad one. The reason why we didn't go after Liam harder out of Coastal was we went at Holman, but also we didn't want to get too many guys, and Liam was left-handed, and so was this Dallas kid. So we pass on Liam, and then we play them, and that was one of the most painful losses I've ever had at Lindsey Nelson, was watching that kid ram it on us for 6 innings and had a little extra intent to it. So rather than ask Liam and get a polite answer, I went to Andrew Fisher, and I said, hey, Liam was trying to kill us that day, wasn't he? And he said, bus ride there. Liam said, watch what happens. I'm about to make these, guys, make them pay. I can't say everything on air, but you get what I'm getting at.
And your buddy said he was screaming at you.
Yeah, he said it and then did it.
Yeah, he's screaming at you, right, T? He's like yelling at you.
Yeah, he was.
And you don't care. That did not bother you.
not when you're competing like that, and also when you can back it up. Amazingly, there's some guys, there's one goofball. Dreiling hit that homer off him, in the College World Series final, and then he's, yelling on our field a year later when they beat us by a bunch of runs. It's kind of like, have some perspective there, dude. So I don't always like that, is long story short, but with Liam, man, I wish he had another year here. We'll get him back at a football game and celebrate his draft status or when he makes it to the big leagues. I hope his jersey sales or fandom increases every day forward because, like I said, he's the one that's calling this place home from here on out.
T, you're the man. I kept you longer than I was supposed to. My bad, brother. My apologies,
yeah,
Sean
but
Barrows.
It was like I was talking to a shrink. I got to bring up the text messages I get that make me want to throw my phone through a window.
Well, here's two things about Italian people don't understand. Italian men, you don't need to criticize us because we will beat on ourselves late at night better than anybody. And I don't know, Tony, if you're like that. The things I say to myself, I got to constantly remind myself, man, I'm God's child. Tony, don't talk to yourself like that. I got to constantly do that, man.
Yeah. No, I've come up with some creative ways to lambaste myself. I haven't slept the last few days at all. Really either, which we need to get that done so we can recruit these next guys because it's no time to give a Vince Lombardi speech to the fan base or to you or whatever. But
you don't need
during
to.
These exit meetings,
you had a hell of a year. What do you mean, Vince Lombardi?
No,
you had a hell,
Tony. I kind of like.
You had a hell of a year.
I don't like that the fan base apparently. I think these kids had to deal with a lot of stuff that they didn't bring on themselves this year. This team is what I gather. Again, I truly don't look at the stuff. So I don't like that our fan base got a little unrealistic is what it seems like. But I do like this little vibe in our stadium where we won 46 games.
Yep.
We lost, quite frankly, to the team that should win the national championship. I don't care that they're playing LSU. They should win.
Yes.
So it's nothing to hang your head about. I mean, the score sucked, and that's more my fault than anybody else's. But there's a lot to be proud of. But during these exit meetings, like Jay Abernathy, he's a dog. He got a little blood in his eyes. He ain't happy about it. He's not happy that he didn't have more individual success, even though he had a lot, and he's not happy that we finished short of 50 wins or that we're done playing. And so I'm excited. We need to do a good job recruiting this summer so that motivation can have a full head of steam this fall.
T, you're the man, and getting to the super regional round, like Sean Sinclair said, 5 years in a row. Defending national champions generally don't qualify for the NCAA tournament the next year. Look at what happened to the A&M bunch this year that you mentioned. That is a brutal sport in a brutal league. It's very difficult, and the kids had the hype around them. Look, I told you off the air, this Rather and Kittrell Capital Management Wednesday thing, we've been doing these interviews with these kids. They have represented themselves wonderfully. They put their best foot forward. And you know me, Tone. Look, I'll criticize you. I'll second guess you. Like you and I have gone back and forth on the air. Man, you got nothing. Sure. You got nothing this year to apologize for it. I had a bet with one of my buddies. He said, if he had a chance to make that move again on Sunday, he wouldn't make that move again. I said, yes, he would. He would have gone out there and gotten that ball. And I'm right, aren't I, Tony? You would have gone out there and gotten that ball. I know you.
The move was earlier. I would have done it a little earlier, but to bring your big dog off the mound,
it's hard.
It's tough to do.
Sure.
But we didn't have room for error. And so you asked about things learned. I think the kids affect our confidence. We affect their confidence. It's a marriage. And I think, unfortunately, when we were in the most heated games this year, not always, Texas, Wake Forest are exceptions, we felt like we didn't have a lot of room for error. And that affected at-bats, it affected decisions, it affected defensive play. Mm-hmm. And so it's one thing that we'll be on a mission. Again, a lot to be proud of, but we want to do better.
Love you, brother.
So we'll get to work and see what we can do.
Hey, have a Dwight Gooden, man. Good talking to you.
Okay, you too. Take care.
Tony Vitello, one more time. He was supposed to be on 15 minutes. He was on like 45. I'm sorry, Sean Barrow. I did not mean to do that, but he started pouring his heart out to me. And a couple takeaways from that piece are he's going to go get some dogs. And Sean Sinclair, I want you to jump in here now because he sounds to me like he knows, hey, my team this year had a lot of talent, but we got to have some more edge. I think it was really well put by Will Heflin, where Will said this group, unlike a lot of Tony teams in the past, when they got punched, did not punch back. And I want to remind you that, that's how it is financially with folks too. You want to make your money last in retirement, you got to start planning for the fight now. That means peace of mind for tomorrow. If you're changing jobs, unsure what to do with a 401k, my friends at RK Capital, Rather and Kittrell can help you. Selling a business, getting a financial windfall can help you. Maybe you recently lost a spouse or a partner. Don't navigate those financial decisions alone. Maybe you're planning for your family's future. Again, Rather and Kittrell, whether it's personalized financial planning, disciplined investment strategy, ongoing guidance and partnership, experience the Rather and Kittrell difference. rkcapital.com. Sean, give me a couple takeaways from that piece with Tony, where I end up telling him, bro, you don't apologize to anybody for that season. Come on now.
No, exactly. I mean, no, the two of you have a unique media coach bond. So you are right to take that whole thing there. Tony is who he is. He's our guy, and we all love him. He's the face of college baseball. He gives deference to some of the old timers, but he's the guy, and his program is the program. Sorry, LSU. Sorry, some other ones. It is what it is. But no, what you see in Tony is what makes him great is he's highly emotional. Okay. He's highly loyal. Okay. Those are double-edged swords right there.
Yep.
But the one thing about him is he's extremely competitive and he hates to lose. If he mentioned a couple times subtly, he's never going to rip a kid, but there was a hint of, hey, I brought in some kids that he said he implied he couldn't push the right buttons at times.
Yep. That
tells me that he brought in kids that he thought could deliver more. I'm not going to say names. And so I don't think he has even as loyal and as competitive as emotional and all that, and as easygoing and as fire at the same time. I don't think he's going to have any problem with these exit interviews. If a kid he brought in for a specific purpose didn't pan out and he thinks he can get better, he's going to get better. I don't know what game he was talking about. That Texas A&M doubleheader, it had to chew a hole in him. That goofy Auburn weekend where it was raining every second and he made some decisions that kind of blew up in his face. No offense. I don't blame him. I think that ate a hole in him. And I sure as heck don't think he likes going to Arkansas for 2 series and getting smoked. And frankly, in front of his mentor and good friend.
Yes.
Neither series we played well in.
No. And he cried. And he, by the way, he cried after that game. I meant to ask him about this, Sink. People are like, well, Tony has a soft spot for Arkansas, man. As he should. And he loves Dave Van Horn. He just said they have the best team. Arkansas should go off and win this thing, but I would be inclined, Brian Hartman, in this upcoming World Series to take the field over Arkansas when you consider their history. It's just it's a lot of history. Bet. It's a lot of history, guys.
And LSU, I wouldn't put anything past LSU.
No, they could flame out and get beaten 2 games.
Given their history, because it's just the opposite of Arkansas.
Exactly, because LSU does not have a very good team this year, guys. I mean, I know they're LSU and this, that, and the other.
In college baseball, the best team doesn't win. The hottest team wins.
Yep.
Take a look at Mississippi State. Take a look at Ole Miss.
Yep.
Take a look at us. I mean, we were extremely talented, but there's a lot of extreme. I don't think, given the past several years, someone like Coastal, someone who's on a heater with great pitching, someone like Murray State who just will not lose, they're going to line up against Arkansas and give them everything they have. And frankly, Arkansas's had it easy. They haven't taken many punches, and that's our fault. But they haven't taken many punches. They're going to get punched.
By the way, I just confirmed with Tony off the air. Tony, how many players are you allowed to bring in the fall? People that follow us on Twitter Spaces, which is a great way to see the show. You can hear what's going on behind the scenes, either the video or the audio. Also, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're going to start posting some stuff. I've got some analysis and some things, and we got some plans for our YouTube channel that we're going to do, some fireside chats, etc. But, Tony, how many are you allowed to bring in the fall? He goes, we have no idea. I said, how in the world are you in your sport? How are you guys managing this? He said, I have no idea. He said, we're just kind of making up as we go along. In football, Sean, you're going to love this. The recruits are now asking these coaches, what are you going to pay me? You know what they're telling them? We have no idea. Because we don't know what we're going to be able to get through a clearinghouse or if we're going to circumvent. I'm talking about all over college football. I'm talking about contacts I have all over the country who have been here, who are now in different places, and what they're all saying to each other is, and the administrators too. This thing became the law of the land Friday with the NCAA, this new house settlement. And this is how these teams are going to be put together, and they don't know. It's like the blind leading the blind. They have no idea. These kids and these agents want hard figures, and they're telling them, hey, look, you know, if it would have been before last Friday, we could have said this to you. Now we're in a new reality. Now, Sean, do you think, because people are like, well, Tony's got a minimum budget. Did Tony sound to you, Sean, like a guy with a minimum budget the way he was just talking? Does he sound to you like he's going to let these constraints stop him? Or do you think Rick Barnes is going to let these constraints stop him? Or do you think Kim Caldwell, who's another killer, do you think she's going to let the constraints stop her, Cinco?
There will be nothing that stands in any of those coaches' way to compete with any team out there.
Hello.
It's not going to happen.
Hello. So here's the deal.
Well, here's the scenario.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
If there are built-in hurdles at the University of Tennessee that doesn't enable these young coaches, Vitello or Kim Caldwell, to compete, they'll leave.
We'll come back
these two. They're too competitive. They're not going to sit back and try to put a happy face on a thing where they're constrained and they can't compete for championships. That's not in their DNA, as you like to say.
Or they're just going to do what they're going to do, which is this. Each of them have a couple of people that are very wealthy that they'll call on and go, hey, we need to get this player. So how are we going to do this?
Well, I've sat on the outside of that
That's how it's going to work.
And this whole thing about cleaning up stuff, they just made it crazy. Because now they're going back to the backdoor deals. Because the one thing you can always assure about the market is never going to shrink. Kids are not going to start taking less money. That's not going to happen.
They think they're going to get this thing in line. And Gary Parrish down in Memphis on CBS Sports, who I love, got a great point. Get ready for $50 million football payrolls because that's what's about to happen. From $30 million to $50 million because they're just going to take that extra $20 million and absorb it. And then in the NIL space, they're going to spend another. But Tony, they have a clearinghouse. They're going to show the clearinghouse this, and then they're going to spend that over there. You watch and see. And you know what we're going to get back to? Like somebody said in the blog today, the wild, wild west days of accusing other schools of cheating. That's what we're going back to. If you think that these people are going to sit there and let those courts, when the NCAA has no subpoena power over anybody's tax returns, I mean, this is the most idiotic thing in the world. They took a stupid system and made it more idiotic. And I want to congratulate them for that. Instead of just doing what this thing is, like Danny White said, and just collect a bargain and get this thing over with, and let's get on with the show. No. We just got to pretend now. If you think Kim Caldwell or Tony Vitello or Rick Barnes for 1 second, now I'm going to speak to those three because I know they're highly competitive. If you think those three people are going to sit there and let them dictate to them, you're out of your mind. you're out of your mind. Not going to happen. As we continue, hour number 2, Watson Brown joins the show. It's going to be utterly amazing. Shout out to Rather and Kittrell. Y'all have been incredible helping us present this World Championship Wednesday. It has been an absolute blast. A blast, I say, as hour 2 after this.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Hey coaches, I'm Billy from Grade A Grounds. We help teams raise money with fresh roasted coffee that features your team's logo on every bag. It's easy to start and you keep 40% of all the purchases. Visit our website and let's get your team brewing today. GradeAGrounds.com.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Basilio here, and my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair. And they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms. And I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Yee-haw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather and Kittrell Capital Management. Life is full of transitions. Planning for retirement, managing investments, or navigating major life changes. Here at Rather and Kittrell, we're here to guide you through every step. Visit rkcapital.com or call 865-218-8400 to start your journey toward financial clarity today. Rather and Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
I'm bowing. My head is, I don't even know how to tell you this, but he's riding with his lovely right now, and he's going to bless us with some time. And you talk about crowns in heaven for Miss Brenda there, Watson Brown, as I welcome you in. Jeez Louise, man. How many years have you all been together?
We're 52, headed about halfway to 53.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's called a long ride on the ride, brother. I love that, my friend.
That's a long ride. One of her favorite lines is, people ask, well, y'all married quick. We married in 6 months. And she says, I was too young to know any different. So.
Well, it's kind of like these business
He
owners.
was 19 when we got married. So.
Well, you get around these business owners, right? And they say, man, if I would have known that, I never would have done this. These guys are like multimillionaires. They said I was too young and too dumb to kind of know the difference, man.
No, Tony, sometimes I look back, we made better decisions when we were young than we did when we got older.
No doubt. And you know what that is? I believe that's God's hand on us, man. Because when you're a kid,
I think you're right.
When you're a kid, how do you know?
You don't know.
You don't have perspective.
And then when we get older, we know too much. So,
that's right.
And knowing too much gets you in a lot of trouble then.
That's right.
Oh, man.
So I just had crazy Tony Vitello on the show.
Oh,
and,
great.
Hey, listen.
I got to follow that, huh? That's hard to do right there.
Wow, I got faith in you. Check this out. So how about, I want your perspective on, because tomorrow we're having Murray State's head coach on.
Good.
And this is how great of a dude he is. He wants to get the spot where he started. Brian, elaborate on this. He wants to get the head coach from right up the street here, who's a guy he started. Hey, Brian, elaborate on this for us as you produce the program. Tell Watson about this. This is how good this dude is.
He was an assistant coach at Walter State, which is probably 50 miles up the road in Morristown. Yeah. And he was there for about 3 years, I think. He wants to have that head coach, David Shelton, on with him because that's where he got an opportunity to eventually led to him getting the Murray State job, which eventually led to him getting to the College World Series.
Hey, Watson.
So he wants to share the spotlight with his former mentor.
I knew Watson was – hey, Watson.
That was fantastic.
That's character.
What a great idea that is.
That's character. Brian said, will you do that, Tony? I said, do that. I said, I will celebrate. I won't do that. I will celebrate that. Speak to what that means when a man gets in the spotlight and says, hey, I want to pull this other guy that gave me an opportunity into the spot. How many people would do that, Watson, in the coaching profession?
I wish I'd thought of that. But all my guys were such Pat and I and different people like that they wouldn't come on with me. Probably they wouldn't have had time. But what a great idea that is. It's unbelievable. I love it.
I'm bowing thy head when I say thy name, the great Watson Brown joining. Hey, Watson, how about that Murray State bunch? All the hurdles they have to get over. I know this has been crazy. That's nuts. The guy's got an 800-seat stadium, and he cuts his own grass every day. Cuts his grass out there himself. I mean,
that don't surprise me. I know those kind of jobs. I've had some of those too, and absolutely, he does a lot more than just cut his grass. I can tell you that. It's in a lot of ways it's more rewarding, Tony, when you're at a place like that. It really is, because you touch so much more physically than you do at a Tennessee or a Ole Miss or a Vanderbilt or something like that. You touch everybody in a lot of ways because you're involved in everything that goes on. And I've watched them. I mean, what a confident bunch, and they never get rattled. It's really, I've kind of grabbed them. It's really fun to watch them. The Duke series was fantastic, and they're good. They're a lot better. I wouldn't want to play them. I would not want to play them because they can flat hit a baseball, and they make big plays at the right time. And when you get in that at this time of year, you're going to win some games.
Not afraid. Duke had the lead.
Not afraid. They're not afraid of nothing.
Duke hit a home run, took the lead in the late sixth, seventh inning, something like that.
Yep.
I thought, man, these guys are cooked. It's a great season for them to get to the spot they're in. They're in the Super Regional. Duke's trying to get back to the College World Series for the first time since 1961. They're trying to get there for the first time ever. It's the first time in over 100 years Duke's hosted a baseball anything postseason on their campus. I mean, just an amazing story on a Monday night, sitting there all by itself. And I couldn't take my eyes off the game because to me, that's what college sports are all about, watching those two teams try to get there. And that Murray State team was not afraid of that deal. They were not afraid.
not afraid in any way. And believe me, I always say it starts with a head coach, but then you've got to have leaders on your team. And we forget the series before, wasn't it Ole Miss? And I think it was Ole Miss they beat to get to go to Duke.
Yeah.
So they're winning big games, and they're winning them the right way. They hang in there, they get the lead late, and then they were able to finish it in the last inning with the same kid. The same kid seems to be the finisher that goes out there and just gets them out. And it was interesting when they got the last out on the play at second base, if you know what I'm talking about, on the double play.
The double play, yep.
And everybody goes nuts, and they jumped all over each other. The coach kept his cool. He kept pointing at his ears, saying, "Boys, get up, get back over here. This thing is not over yet." They overruled it and got another shot and got the next guy out. So they're just cool. They're really fun to watch. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but it would not surprise me for them to go out there and win a game here. Would not surprise me to win this first game.
I love their story. My friends at Simpson's Meats presenting the great Watson Brown, who brings the beef every week he's on here. It's a beef brand built on quality. Simpson's Meats raises and sources their meats from farms, pastures on purpose, comfortably continuing a tradition that began in 1888 on Jim Simpson's farm, whether it's steaks or burgers or sausages, roast chicken, a variety of local offerings at their butcher shop, from milk to honey to jams to eggs to more. And you stop by and see the best from our Tennessee community. And if you want to buy in bulk, they have half and quarter cows available. And look, Father's Day is upon us, and here's the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, hey, dads, you lean into your wife's ear, your children's ear, and say, "Hey, I want to check out this Simpson's Meats thing Basilio is talking about. I want you to treat me with a gift box from there, and it will be a wonderful gift for you." Now, Watson can tell you that I am not fibbing here, and you will taste the difference. Watson, can I get an amen from you?
Amen, brother. Oh, I say it every week. Go. I don't care what it costs. Buy your first one, and you will go back. That's my prediction. You will not stop with that. Go back.
And
you will go back after you eat one.
And all around the world, SimpsonsMeats.com. You can send those gift boxes anywhere. They do it every day. They send hundreds of them out. They got one heck of an operation as Watson Brown joins. Hey, Watson, so Tony Valls was on with us. Tony Vitello. Tony Valls, that's his Italian nickname. He was talking about his team, and he said something kind of interesting. He said there was a series this year. There was a game, and he said it was in their building. But he wouldn't tell us which game. He said, "I won't tell him my team." Because I asked him, "What did you learn this year?" Because he started in almost an apologetic mode, and I'm like, "Tony, you got nothing to apologize for, man. You're in an ultra-competitive sport." But he's so darn used to, getting to Omaha that he feels like, hey, we kind of let the fans down. He said, though, one thing, there was a spot in the year where I kind of knew that our team just didn't have a Sean Sinclair or Brian. How did he put it? What was the word he used? Because I don't want to misconstrue what he said. Somebody help me out here. What was the word?
He said he didn't have a player like Evan Russell to put a stop to whatever was going on.
There you go. He couldn't put a stop to it. In other words,
he implied that no matter how many buttons he pushed, we could not punch back.
How frustrating is that as a coach, Watson, when you get in a spot and you realize, hey, I am short on, and I don't want to say competitors. I don't like how that sounds. But
sometimes it's not competitors. Sometimes it's ability. It's it's not there. But you do know it. You believe me. A coach knows what he's walking into, and it does take a while sometimes to learn that. And they got off to such a good start. That didn't help any.
Yep.
But there is a point when you know every time you go out to play, like if you're going into a week series or weekend series, or if you're you're playing the next week against this opponent as a football coach. You know exactly what you got to do and what your percentages are that you got a shot to win that game. And I think you learn. Every coach will never admit that and would never tell you that week what he thinks, but he knows. And you're surprised every once in a while.
Yeah.
But he knew, and I appreciate him, in essence, being in apologetic mode, because that's the way he should have been. That's the way you are as a competitor. You want to deliver, and you're disappointed when you don't. I can remember so many times with them saying, well, this is a pressure year. The pressure's on you. I said, you can't put more pressure on me than I put on myself. I don't want him to hear that. I don't think that way. Nobody can put more pressure on me than I can myself to want to try to get it done and to win. And that's what he meant by that, and I appreciate that statement from him.
Well, and his thing is, look, I don't blame – my kids played really hard this year. We gave it our best.
I just don't think they were as good.
That's what he said. Yeah. And here's another one.
They were as good.
I'm gonna have you take the quiz, okay? I asked him when it comes to getting the Doyle kid, okay? I said, I had a bet with my friends, Tony. They say you would not have gone out there and gotten Doyle. I said he would have gone out there and gotten him, and he does not regret doing it, even though the inning blew up in his face. What do you think he said?
I think he would do it again. That's what I think.
You know what he said? He said, I wish I'd have done it. I wish I would have done it sooner.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah,
we would have done it again. Yeah. He'll go right back and do it again.
Yeah.
You know when your guy is not right.
Yeah.
I ran quarterback-oriented offenses my whole career as a head coach, offensive coordinator. The reason I did that is because I wasn't good enough to turn and hand it off and do those type things. And when my QB wasn't on, the first guy knew it was me. And it was tough. That's the tough thing about running quarterback-oriented offenses. If your quarterback's not hot that day or not really himself, it makes for a tough afternoon. I see that in baseball with a pitcher so many times, especially college baseball. And when your man has just not got it and it happens, you might as well get him out of there, because it's just not going to work. And you don't want his pride. You don't want him getting. He wants to win just like you do, and you don't want him getting punched in the heart either. You couldn't do that and take your quarterback out, because very seldom you got one behind him good enough. But we're relievers in today's world. Now, it didn't work, but I know exactly why he did it. I know exactly why he did it.
Tony said he's gone through his exit interviews. He's talking to that Doyle kid.
Uh-huh.
He said the Doyle kid looked at him and said, because this is the era we're in. He said, I started at Coastal. I end up at Mississippi, and then I come here, and the whole time I'm thinking while I'm bouncing around, I'm not going to have a home. I don't have a home. He said, he looked at Tony and he said, I was here for a short time, coach, but I feel like I found a home. Tony said, I'm in an exit interview with this kid who's getting ready to be a top 5 pick in the Major League Draft, and I'm getting choked up because I know I believe him. Like that kid when he took the ball last Monday, Watson, and you know how fans are. Fans are never going to forget that kid asking for the baseball when he was going to be a high pick in the draft. They're never going to forget that.
No, never will. And that's neat, because that's what scares me about our college athletics is these kids. You hear me say it on this show a lot, and these kids aren't proud to be where they are.
Yep.
And it's neat to hear one that is. And I say it all the time to you all, that T on the side of that helmet matters. And it's got to matter to the guy wearing it. And if it don't matter to the guy wearing it, you're not going to get what you got to get out of him. It's not going to happen. When your heart and your soul and your mind aren't 100% into what you're doing and proud of what you're doing, your body ain't going to work. And it was neat to hear that kid say that, because that's what I'm concerned about, is what's going to start happening to college athletics.
Yeah, this thing they did last week isn't settling anything, Watson.
No. I read an article this morning before we got in the car to leave, and it was talking about one of the basketball guys saying, well, this will stop the transfer portal. Now that they're going to get paid by that university, they'll stay there. And I said, you got to be kidding me. That's not going to stop that. The next guy's going to be on the phone telling me we'll pay you a little more than what you're getting there. I mean, that's a joke. The transfer portal is not stopping. They got to figure out a way to get that better because – and isn't it interesting, Tony, that all we're doing is making a circle back. I'm sitting at Rice in 1984 and 85 as athletic director and head coach, and the Southwest Conference gets in all kind of trouble because an SMU kid, an SMU player, one player, came out disgruntled because he wasn't playing, ready to leave, and said, I've been paid for 2 years and I haven't worked one day, not one day. And here we go getting a commission together with this NIL to make sure what these kids are getting paid, they're doing what they're supposed to do to get paid. We've made a 360 circle here. And that's all this is. We've gone right back to where we were back in 1980s.
Well, because you know and I know, because Sean and I were just talking about this a second ago on the air, and one thing we do on this program is I keep it 100% real.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a value to pretend. Why would we pretend? You and I both know these competitive people that are in this space. It's kind of like old school NASCAR before they started having rocket ship cars. And even today, they still find ways to get around their rules in that because people are people.
Of course they do.
And so these competitive people, if you think every dollar is going to go through that clearinghouse like they want you to believe, tell them, Watson, how foolish they're being. Tell them how much money is about to exchange hands under the table because it's going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that is just the truth. It's the truth.
Well, what it is to me is that there's now a commission to what the NC2A used to do. And how many people are you going to have to hire that they say, well, I've got to register through the NIL, through this commission, and then we go check it out?
Right.
You better have how many staff members is it going to take just to do that alone? Can you imagine the number registering through NIL? And then you've got to go make sure. In the old days, back in the Rice days in the 80s, you had to put that within your own athletic department, but you didn't really have to turn it into the NC2A. Now, if the NC2A heard something, then they come in and check the athletic department's records.
Right.
They don't like what they see, then they investigate it themselves. Now they're saying you've got to register through this NIL. That's great, but how many staff members is it going to take to get every player in the country covered with that? And they got to have university help, yeah, but it's supposedly going to be done by this commission staff to make sure everybody is earning the money that they're getting paid. I
just
have to go back. I watched it firsthand, Tony. A conference disappeared over this. They did away with a conference over guys getting paid and not doing work.
So we're back to pretending now.
We're back to where we were. We're back to square one. We're back to where we were in the 80s when a conference went away because of it. It's going to be so interesting to watch how this grows and if this commission can handle this or not. It's great to say that, but to execute this through and make sure everybody's above board and doing it right, my gracious alive.
Hey,
it's
Watson,
going to be tough.
Watson, you coach in those Texas schools. Your brother coached at Texas. Now, try telling one of those guys that makes his living from what we call the bubbling crude that they can't get that 5-star linebacker because what's being offered him is not market value, okay? How do you think that billionaire down there is going? You think he's just going to go, oh, yeah, okay, we're just going to go away and we're going to throw that player back into the pot and let Alabama have him? You can guess again. And by the way, this thing won't live to see a year, okay? I'm going to make a prediction to you. This thing will not live to see, because it's going to end up in court and it's going to get absolutely destroyed in a court of law because we're back. You said back to square one. Square one is this. I cannot tell you, Watson, how much you can make. If somebody's willing to pay you, it's called what we do in our country. It's called capitalism. It's called the fair market.
Do that back in the 80s, Tony. They could make anything they wanted as long as they supposedly were working a job to earn it.
Yeah.
We're right back where we were. And you talking about the courts, and you know now I'm a glass half full guy. So, but this one I just kind of giggle at because you know what's headed to court immediately? Title IX. You think they're going to sit there and let all this money be spent by these universities on these kids and these ladies not getting near the amount that the guys are getting?
You were an AD. That's exactly right.
I'm telling you, it's coming.
You were an AD.
That's the first thing that's coming is Title IX.
That's interesting.
Is going right back to court again.
You know, I hadn't even thought about that.
If I'm Title IX, that's what I would do. It's exactly what I'd do.
Watson, you're my main man. I love you so. You have no idea. You're my guy. It's unbelievable. How into the U.S. Open are you, Watson? Are you going to watch it this week?
Yeah, oh, yes, sir. I always watch the Open. I love to watch it when it's the toughest it can be.
Oh, the rough up there.
It is the toughest tournament every year. And I love to watch these guys because it happens to me all the time. I get down, I'm not playing well, I'm getting bad lies. I don't handle it very well sometimes. I love watching these great players when they get their backs against the wall and how they respond to it. It's so much fun. This is my favorite tournament of the year.
My buddy Mike Fidanza, who's like a Michael Jordan of the turf and grass management deal around. Yeah. He's there this week consulting. He texted me and said, the rough is brutal. I was watching the Golf Channel today, and they were like rolling a few balls into the rough. When the ball goes into the rough, you can't find it. I mean, good luck to you.
No, they're going to have people all over the place with little flags, and they're going to have to run to it real quick and hope it's right where they thought it was.
I love seeing pros struggle.
There's so much punching out, Tony. They're not going to get to go for greens out of this rough. If they leave it that high, it is really high. And I wonder if they'll cut it back just a little. But I'm not sure they're going to.
You're my main man. I love you, brother.
Love you guys. Always a blast.
Presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. Speaking of, and listen, online at simpsonsmeats.com, Sam Bruce wants you to know that with Father's Day here, they got you covered. You walk right into the room right now and you say, hey, I know it's Wednesday. This is what I want. And kabam! I've got over today at VIP Play for you. It's getting ready to drop. These are players to finish in the top 20. We're putting together Basilio's U.S. Open Pick 4 Extravaganza to the Stars. That's what it's being called. You'll see this under the Specials tab. I got to finish in the top 20, Bryson DeChambeau. I got John Rahm. I got Ludwig Aberg. And in honor of one of my musical heroes, Christine McVie, I got Tommy Fleetwood. That's a plus 971 without the boost. We're going to blow it up for you. Take a shot. Let's have some fun. It'll be up there momentarily, so keep checking back. Over at VIP Play, go bet $5 or more, get your $100 in bonus bets instantly. More new and more convenient deposit withdrawal methods coming soon. The VIP Players Club sweepstakes continues through the end of June. 25% play on MLB Parlay Profit Boost, 3 picks or more. NBA Playoff No Danger Wager. 50% of stake back if bonus bet wager loses. And with the College World Series here, 20% baseball tournament profit boost, 3 picks or more. Brian Hartman, what say you tonight on the Pacers and Oklahoma City back in the town with the great race, Bri?
Well, the last line I saw, Oklahoma City was -4.5. I like Indiana getting those points in their building.
Go! Tyrese Halliburton will not have 2 games like that in a row. If you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, located in the state of Tennessee to place a bet. Again, my pick for extravaganza, you got to check it out there, will be DeChambeau, Rahm, Aberg, and in honor of Christine McVie, Tommy Fleetwood, with a special shout-out to Bob Welch. Cinco, are you fired up, focused, and prepared right now for what we're about to do?
What are we about to do?
Well, we're going to find out after this. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Jeff Hall here. I'm a partner at Rather & Kittrell Capital Management. And here at Rather & Kittrell, we understand that life is full of transitions. Since 2000, our team of dedicated certified financial planners has been helping individuals, families, and businesses navigate these changes with confidence. From comprehensive wealth management to tailored retirement plans, we're committed to guiding you toward a secure financial future. Ready to take the next step? Visit rkcapital.com or call us at 865-218-8400 to start your journey today. Rather & Kittrell is a registered investment advisor.
Summer officially starts this month, and the last thing you want during sweltering heat is a broken air conditioner or HVAC system. That means it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe before extreme Tennessee temperatures arrive. Don't ignore the warning signs that your AC is struggling or nearing the end of its lifespan. And if you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. So we got so lost in the Tony Vitello Purple Haze, which can happen. When he was on our Rather and Kittrell Capital Management World Championship Wednesday, that we neglected to mention that Brady, easy for me to say, go ahead, Brian. What happened?
Brady Frederick, the sidewinder from ETSU, SoCon Pitcher of the Year, has committed to Tennessee. From ETSU.
Sean Sinclair, your thoughts on the significance of this as we opened the program talking about him earlier?
Well, I love the pickup. I watched that game. He wasn't perfect, but he was frustrating as heck. I just pulled up the box score of that game. He went 3 2/3, gave up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 1, struck out 4, and hit a batter. 56 pitches. Now, in and of itself, that doesn't really show much. But in the context of what ETSU had that game, I mean, he was an outlier. Not just because of his funky delivery, but because of his competitiveness. You could see that, when you learned that he was from Bearden, he went to ETSU. Now he's playing in Lindsey Nelson Stadium. You could understand why he was juiced up, but it was more than competitive. He owned that. Again, I understand he gave up 2 runs. He certainly did, but he owned that mound, and he was impressive. I told you as soon as I saw him, I said, man, I hope somehow we get this kid because he looks lights out.
Back to the phones we go because Tony was on here and he was wordy. I got to get one more timeout in, and then we'll do some TLD logistics overdrive overtime, no doubt. So let's get some calls in without further ado on our TLD logistics hotline. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
How my French compatriots doing?
Hey, buddy.
Tony Vitello, I'm telling you, you're right. He comes on there and he gets on a roll, and he enjoys being on your show.
He told us 15 minutes. He had 15 minutes, and I texted him and apologized, and because I didn't mean to drag him into a 40-minute and thing, but he just, I don't know, he called it a therapy session.
Yes, you did not drag him into anything. He feels comfortable on your show. He's part of the common fan, and it was great. And when I heard that Liam Doyle story, W. Lynn teared up here, right sitting at my desk. I teared up.
Still about people, brother. It still matters, and it's still about people.
It's still about people, and a man can come here and be here 1 year, and he's one of us. He's Big Orange Country, a Tennessee Vol for life. And that just really got me just going. And I love him. I love the team. They did everything they could this year. And I want to clear something up. I was not implying Chipper Jones was talking about us the other day.
Oh, not you. No. He got attacked. W. Lynn.
I didn't know he got attacked by our fans. I just thought he doesn't understand the passion of college sports.
W. Lynn, they buzzed on him like that Hitchcock movie, The Birds.
Oh, good grief. That's terrible. I love Chipper. I'm a Braves fan,
They descended upon him. They were talking about how low rent he is, how he had a kid out of wedlock, how he had this, how he did this, how he did. And he said, wow. He said, I learned something today. He said, Tennessee fans are pretty vicious. He said, I wasn't even talking about you.
And you know what? Coach Majors about 40 years ago said, this is before all this.
Yep.
Internet. Legions of the Miserables.
Yep.
They want to be mad about something, and the way you described Nega Dave's eyes the other day, I think I laughed for 15 minutes.
Oh, that was a Nega Dave ninth. When those two pit players that he's been pining for all year hit the ball hard in the ninth inning, and I'm going to tell you something. Hey, Cinco, that kid Tony talked about who's going to end up in left field next year, Abernathy smashing that ball way out of there is a pretty darn good sign for the baseball team next year, Sean. That's a pretty good sign. He hammered that baseball, Cinco. Pretty good sign.
Well, not only that, you had Chris Newstrom, who I argue should have spent a lot of time in left field for us.
Yes.
This year, or right field when certain players were struggling.
Yes.
He gets up there in a situation where no one's expecting anything and just puts one off the wall.
Come on, Tony, be better. Do better, Tony Vols.
I just told the friends I was watching the game with, guys, I said, this is the future. Now, these guys have been, having to wait. This is who you're going to see next year.
Yep.
So, it just, I don't know, Tony Vitello just gets me so fired up. I'm ready to storm up and down the road with my flag and coonskin hat on. But this deal about no walk-ons and scholarship numbers and all, I think the no walk-on rule is a kind of akin to what we're doing to the common fan with the season tickets.
Everybody gets
like
locked
my dad
out.
That had them for 60 years. My father-in-law had them for over 60 years.
Yep.
And back then they said, boy, thank you for buying season tickets. Thank you. Now they want donations.
Now, like
And
Sean
so
said, Sean said they've what's the payment plan thing, Sean? They've cut the payment plans from what to what?
If I understand this correctly, they implemented last year when they went up, they included a fee, and I get it. You got to pay the coach, you got to pay the new stadium. It's about $1,000 ish a ticket. And they had an extended payment plan. If I understand this right, they're now going to just 2 installments. That's the word we got. So it's where it was more budget friendly. Again, I know these are first world problems, but I'm just this mythical 15,000 wait list.
No way, Charlie Brown.
Pressing the pay time in. It's just I don't know. I feel what what W. Lynn's saying about they getting frustrated.
And, I'm with you. I want to see this list. We need to start a show the list movement. Is he carrying it around in Gus Manning's famous briefcase?
Oh, or maybe Butch Jones's back pocket.
I thought about that. I thought Butch Jones might have a business going. Like, he sells umpires.
Bocce boy.
Those little notebooks to put in her back pocket, Tony, the umpire.
I like that umpire. If I was on here, if I had a time with Tony, two things I'm going to do with Tony in the fall. I want to know why that umpire gave them a warning in one batter. I've never seen that in my life. And then, Sean, the second thing I want to know is, where did you get your weather forecast for that damn Auburn game, Tony? Because that source of the National Weather Service you listen to, you need to lose that source, Tony. I've had a source or two down through the years I've had to lose. Tony, you need to lose that source.
He'd be better off just looking out the window.
I mean, what in the world?
Tennessee, just look out the window and see if it's hitting the Clinch Mountain boomerangs in effect or something.
W. Lynn, you're my boy. That's a call by which all others today will be judged. Back to the phones we go on our TLD Logistics Hotline. Hello and welcome in.
How you doing, Tony?
There it is. Another standard bearer.
I'll tell you.
A pace setter, if you will.
I'll tell you, buddy, yesterday you brought it long and brought it strong on the Plaster Show.
Uh-oh. I got people spying on me.
I watched it.
Spying on me. I was in the park yesterday when I did that. I was sitting at a bench and enjoying the day.
And I'll tell you, I really like that co-host of Plasters, Billy. I don't know.
Oh, Billy Derrick, he is a jewel, man.
Derrick,
that's a jewel and a gem right there. Brian Hartman loves him. He's a great dude, man. Great young broadcaster, great kid, solid human being. I can't say enough good things. Now, Kelly Holcomb, on the other hand, he was in The Wizard of Oz. He was that. What was the character, guys, in Search of a Brain? Do you all remember?
The Scarecrow, I think.
The Tin Man.
The Scarecrow's a quarterback.
Yeah. So that's him. On another note, Tony, I did not think we were good enough to make it into the College World Series, but I will say one more. I will say one thing. Next year, I believe it'll be a different story.
I would not bet against Tennessee 2 years in a row. I'll say that to you, Titans Bill. I'll stand with you on that. I will stand with you on that. Now, it's very hard to get there, but Tony Vols 2 years in a row. Tony's going to make it more years than he's not. That's the thing that he's going to spoil people with. What have they gone now, Brian? 3 out of 5 years? That's probably a pace that he'll continue for a while, I would think, Brian.
Yeah, they're the only team in the country, program in the country to do that besides
crazy.
Virginia.
I mean, that's a nutty pace he's on. A nutty pace. Besides Virginia, yeah.
I'll tell you, Tony, I agree with you on Tony Vitello is not going anywhere. He's saying right here at UT, he's not. If Van Horn decides he's going to retire, you.
Well, what? And Bill's skipping around. And Bill, I love you, but you're on phone. I can't hear you. What Bill's talking about is yesterday I'm on the Plaster Show. And I've had some other people ask me this from out of the market. You know, he was crying over Arkansas. Is he going to go to Arkansas? And I've had my brother-in-law John sent me an article. Some guy in Arkansas said, we got to hire this guy. Hey, listen. When they paid him $3 million last year after he won it all, they tied him to a huge buyout. I'm talking huge. Because that's what you do. I'm putting a $140 million renovation in my stadium. Him not being in the stadium, him not being your head coach would be injurious to your any kind of financial future you would have. He cried over Arkansas or cried for those people because he enjoys those people. And he likes the Van Horn guy. It doesn't mean he's going to go back there and coach. Come on now. This is a guy making his own. This guy won a national championship here. Like Sean Sinclair said, he's got everything he needs here. He's got everything he needs. And he's not going anywhere. And besides, even if he got the itch to go, good luck paying that buyout, especially in that sport. That's huge amounts of money. And so credit Danny White and Tennessee for saying, hey, we'll belly up to the bar with you and make you the highest paid coach in the deal. But you're also going to have a buyout here.
I listened to an interview he did yesterday with a Arkansas network.
Uh-huh.
And he even talked, because they were asking about the connection, et cetera, and he handled it very well. And he even said that he warned Arkansas fans that he hopes they don't take Dave Van Horn's loyalty for granted there, implying that Dave Van Horn better get a big raise and he said don't mistake the fact that he doesn't have a national championship with the fact that he's one of the top 2 or 3 coaches in the country.
And that's who Tony is.
Exactly.
And I love stuff like that. It's kind of like tomorrow we're going to have the coach on from Murray. And he said, yeah, we'll do it. I want to get this guy on over here who started me in the deal. Can we do it at the same time? And the answer is, you better believe it. Because we stand on business here, Coach. I stand on business. Brief timeout, more phone calls after this.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Whether it's baseball, football, softball, church groups, or schools, if you're raising money, do it with locally roasted Grade A Grounds coffee. I'm Billy Miller, a Vol alum and Knoxville native. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% back to our East Tennessee community. Get started today by visiting our website at gradeagrounds.com.
If you haven't been to the brand new Covenant Health Park yet, what are you waiting for? There's so many incredible promotions still to come. First, you asked for it, so you got it. All You Can Eat Wednesdays is back. And how about Thirsty Thursdays with half-off draft beers? Or maybe Smokey's Version Night, 4th of July, Pete the Cat Day, or Christmas in July. Check out all the great upcoming promotions at SmokiesBaseball.com and grab your tickets now.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Peace of mind is priceless, especially when it comes to your home safety and your family's comfort. That's why the pros at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling created the Peace of Mind Maintenance Plan. Preventative maintenance for HVAC and plumbing is like changing your vehicle's oil, and experts recommend scheduling regular system checks to keep everything running smoothly. With Peace of Mind, you can safeguard your home from unexpected costly breakdowns and repairs. You'll get tons of benefits, including full system checks on HVAC and plumbing systems, water heater flushes, sewer camera inspection, 10% automatic discount on repairs, priority bookings, no service fees, and much more. Monthly service plans are as low as $20.25 per month, and total annual services are valued at over $1,500. Call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to sign up or schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hi there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. If you're thinking about selling your home, I've got good news for you. The East Tennessee and Knoxville areas are projected to have another strong year. I'll be happy to talk with you about the latest and greatest info you need. So give me a call at 865-694-5904 or contact me at nextmovesmokymountains.com. Hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for
Hey, whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. TB back with you, 865-200-5402. Back to the phones we go. Hey, look, we'll do some TLD Logistics Overdrive overtime today. On this Wednesday, I want to get Sean's thoughts on the story that somebody told us about Jeremy Pruitt, that the A.J. McCarron story somebody recounted, and get into a few other odds and ends in our overtime. But let's go back to the phones on the TLD Logistics phone line. If you want to get in, 865-200-5402. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, you're on the air.
Hi, sorry, first-time caller.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Doing great. Appreciate you calling.
Great. So I had a couple of thoughts on the whole Tony and the expectations for this year. So I was thinking about it. You know, he's the first men's coach to win a championship since Coach Fulmer. It's got to be a lonely feeling with those expectations. You know, like, and I doubt he's calling Coach Fulmer asking what it was like back in 1998. So, I mean, I just try to have some perspective on it. You know, because Super Regional was not a bad year.
In that sport, it's a very good year in that sport. In fact, when you win one, most years the next year post-COVID, which is the era we're in now. There's all these players, you know, change hands, and generally speaking, you're going to have some high-level talent if you win a national championship, and they're going to go on to the draft or going to go on with their lives. But you're going to have a veteran team that does that. For them to turn around and kind of reload, and Tony, one thing that he conveyed in our piece was, hey, we had no time last year. I got back here, we had a parade. Then we had this appearance and that appearance. He said, and we struck gold in the portal, but we weren't really able to bring in the, I don't know what the term is. Sean, is the term the depth of player, the amount? What am I looking for here, Sean, that Tony was trying to convey to us?
I think he wanted more quality.
Yeah.
He wasn't running anybody down. He implied that they knew they had holes that they couldn't fill because of the lack of time there with the portal.
And to my caller, you know, the thing I know about him is that he's not a guy that likes being patted on the back. Like, I don't know, and I want you to hang there because I want to talk to you on our TLD Logistics Overdrive overtime. He didn't like me saying, he likes me going at him more than he likes me complimenting him. You heard him. I'm like, no, Tony, you did a very good job. I know we go at you on here. That's one of the things, you know, that we do in our dynamic. Own that own that this year was a very good job. To the radio listener, I want to thank Sean and Brian. A very good job by them. Tomorrow, we got a full cast of characters. I love you. I appreciate you, radio listener. tclub.team is where you find us and where the conversation continues.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM.
Translator W259AB.
Powell, Knoxville.
And we're going to conversate now, as they say in the trade.
It's TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime, presented by TLD Logistics. Online at tldlogistics.com.
And now here we are in TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime, presented by our friends at TLD Logistics. To my caller, how did you find us?
Actually, so I'll be honest with you, I'm over here in Memphis. So we don't really get you on the radio, but I found you on Twitter, and actually YouTube is where I listen to you most of the time.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, YouTube is a great way to consume the show. And what I like about the YouTube thing is there's some guys in there and some gals that sit in there and kind of have some fun and sort of joust with each other, and got a good little text thread. That's a great way to consume the program. The needle we've got to thread these days is you have to be available in so many places, and radio listenership is such a small, it's a thimble kind of part of what we do now. It's amazing how our industry has changed. But I appreciate you in Memphis. Hey, there's a bunch of shows. There's a bunch of choices out there. I appreciate you jumping in with us and finding us. Did you notice?
Hey, no problem.
Did you notice
I'll be honest.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Thanks. I was just gonna say we do have a lot of options over here, but literally everybody talks about is Memphis, like the university, the Tigers.
Sure.
I'm like, I got to have a UT fix. I'm a Tennessee fan, and like you said, there's a lot of options, but I get tired of turning on the radio, driving to work every morning, and hearing about Memphis. I want to hear about UT,
Yeah, but those. In all fairness to those hosts, they've got to serve their communities, and all politics are local, man, and that's why the internet's a beautiful thing. Like sometimes at night, because I grew up in southeastern Pennsylvania, my dad was a mushroom farmer outside of Philadelphia. I will turn on the news radio station up there, KYW, and on the app, and close my eyes and picture all those places. Now, I only get back there like once a year, but there's a beauty to the fact that we're all interconnected through this thing with the internet, just like it can also be a curse, because sometimes when we're all interconnected, we can all sit there and argue and fight with each other too. So, but back to the Tony Voss thing, I want to ask you if you notice this. I don't know if you heard the piece that we did with him, but
I did.
He did not like it when I was telling him that, hey, you had a hell of a year. He's not happy with what they did, I guess he's not going to rest on that. You can hear him. You can kind of hear that in his voice. Did you sense that?
Yeah, I could sense that. I feel like he has higher expectations, as high of an expectation as we put on things and we talk about standards and stuff. It's easy to forget, he didn't get paid $3 million just by being mediocre. He expects excellence from himself, is my personal opinion.
Yeah, and you know what? The crazy thing with him is it's not about money, man. It's not. It's not. It's just not about the money with him. So, hey, Sean, did you sense that as well? Because our caller from Memphis brings up a really good point, which is he probably has higher expectations than the fans do on what he's doing here.
I think it's all about his competitive attitude. He's not going to walk away from money. He's the top coach. He should be paid the most. He believes he should have the top facilities. But he's the type, I believe, that, hey, if none of us are getting paid, I'm still going to gouge your eyes out.
Right. That's right.
I think he's competitive. I think he's competitive in everything. I want to beat you on the field. I want to have the best contract. I want to have the best looking ball girls. I want to have the I want to have the rowdiest fans.
Right.
I want to have the nicest turf. I want to have, if we're going to keep score, I want to come out on top on whatever it is.
And to my caller in Memphis, I thought it was really interesting when he said, "There's a time in our season." He said, "I really shouldn't be saying this, but I say things to you. It's kind of our dynamic." Because I don't know how familiar you are with our program, but there have been times in the past where Tony's come on here and basically we've had arguments and fights. And last year, in fact, I guess it was last year or 2 years ago. Brian, correct me here. But that was that Alabama series where I disagreed with the way they used their bullpen, and I asked him about it like 3 or 4 times, and finally he goes, "How many times are you going to ask me about this, man?" He snapped, he bowed up on me, and then earlier this year he bowed up on me when I said the word slide to him. He kind of
I remember that. It was
so we have this,
Well, hey, he mentioned the slide thing yesterday on the Arkansas interview. He's a complex guy.
Yes,
and that's what
very
what drives
thin-skinned.
him.
He's very
yes. He's at times, and I love him, but at times he's thin-skinned.
No doubt, man.
At times he's defensive, and you know what? So am I.
I said to him off the air.
I love him. I'm so, with all those things. He's human, and that is
right.
very uncommon. We got a football coach who I like. We got a football coach who uses more words and says freaking nothing.
Won't let you say it. Our football coach will not.
Exactly.
Has no interest in
again, I
say
like
it.
the guy, and I'm glad. I don't know him personally. I like that he's our head coach. I've got some questions about the way he's doing things now, but nonetheless, 2 different ways of doing things. But I love the humanity of Tony Vitello.
Let me ask you something. To my Memphis caller, what's your name?
Nick.
Nick, okay. Nice to meet you. I'm Tony. And I hope you'll call us again. Nick, the truth is that this Tennessee baseball thing is something I didn't care about before Tony got here. I just didn't. We used to have the coaches on. Not Todd Raleigh because he's a nut, but most of the other coaches, yes, down through the years. How about you? When did you start caring about, and how did you start caring about it in Memphis?
All right, so that's a good question. I'm actually a huge baseball fan. I would say that. So I may not sound that old. I'm in my mid-30s.
Nice.
I remember the home run chase between McGuire and Sosa in the 90s. I'm a huge Cardinals fan.
Cool.
So, when I was growing up, I liked football, but I loved baseball. So I consumed as much baseball as I could. And, that's when we still had Delmonico as the coach at Tennessee. And it's I like Tennessee football, so and I like Tennessee basketball. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow Tennessee baseball too. I'll be honest. I don't understand the folks. We got some of them. They're used to be. They called them ball cats. They would root for Tennessee in football, Kentucky in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I never understood people that did split allegiances. I've always been all in on one school for better or worse. I don't know. It's just how I'm wired. But yeah, I used to just kind of try to keep up with it in the newspapers, and when they would be on TV, I would, on ESPN for the College World Series. Back when Burke and them were playing, I'd try to catch some of that. Back when Hochaver and all them were playing, I'd try to catch some of it. So I've just kind of, I kept up with it pretty much my entire life. And I knew when those guys were here, it felt like we were that certain level of program. I never dreamed in a million years we'd win a natty in baseball.
Yep.
To be honest with you. I was over the moon last year. That was probably one of the more exciting championships I've ever seen a favorite team of mine win. Just because I'll be honest with you, when I was a kid, I was like, wouldn't it be great, if Tennessee ever won in baseball? I was like, yeah, that'd be great, but what are the odds it actually happens? And it's happened. And honestly, I'm grateful to Tony for what he's done for this program because, like you said, when Delmonico last few years, it was starting to go down. We hired Todd Raleigh. That was a disaster. That was also, when all the stuff with Fulmer was going on in football, and then we had the Pearl scandal in basketball.
Those were dark days, man. That was dark time.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yep. Those were dark days.
And
the thing is, though, with the baseball, this is just me. I think the technology's really helped the sport.
Oh, yeah.
And I meant to ask Tony this. I'm going to get Tony on and ask him about the sport because I put this in the blog today. I think Rusty's right, Sean. I think they need to go to the robo umpire, instantaneous ball strike call. I think that's right. They need to go to a 3-batter rule in that sport. They're changing pitchers way too much. That needs to happen. You as a Cardinal fan, will you not agree with me that at first the changes that they made to Major League Baseball, because I'm a purist, I thought that is the most ridiculous, idiotic. Now I watch a Major League game. It takes 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it's a much better sport. It's got a better flow to it.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it was weird at first, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice to have a baseball game start at 7:15 and be over by 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
And you can kind of wind down and go to bed instead of. I mean, like you said, don't get me wrong. I miss the days of laying in bed awake at night, going to sleep, listening to guys like Jack Buck, Mike Shannon on the radio. But I mean, now that I'm a grown man, I can't be laying. I got to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, get ready to go to work. I can't. Be checking the baseball score till 11 o'clock midnight. So the changes are nice in that sense.
I really enjoy what I think college baseball, Sean, if it's going to appeal to a wider audience, needs to figure out a way to clean up the ball strike calls, the inconsistent umpiring, and they also need to figure out a way to get their sport faster, and they need to make those two changes. By the way, college basketball, Brian Hartman, we wrote today in the blog, now has the NBA challenge system. Brian, you're an NBA fan. That is a tremendous improvement over what they've been doing, Brian. A tremendous improvement.
They're thinking about going to quarters and doing away with halves. There's momentum toward that according to On3.
Which the women's game has been doing that for years. Sean, you watch women's basketball, the women's game, it's much better. It flows better. It flows better.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't seen it. No, but I'm glad you're jumping on board because a month ago I brought up the robo strike zone and you obliterated me about how
I watch a postseason, Sean.
Was.
Sean, I will be wrong. I won't stay wrong. I'll be wrong, but I watch that postseason.
I agree.
I want that guy neutralized that was behind the plate for that Arkansas game. I want that SOB neutralized.
Well, the thing is that it speeds up the game. It is consistent for every batter, regardless of team, regardless of weather conditions, regardless of where the catcher sets up, regardless of reputation of the pitcher. Everybody, I'll tell you what, if I see another one of our batters sit there and take the first two strikes and then walk out of the bat shaking their head, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. It's a strike or it's not a strike, dude. You get back in the box. It would take away all that. It would take away Frank Anderson walking out and chirping at the umpire. It's consistent. It may not be consistently great, but it's consistent. The thought of I like the human element. Well, it's like saying I like the human element when I go to a restaurant and the cook doesn't cook my food right. What are you talking about?
Go ahead, Nick. What say you?
So, I don't know how many of the minor league baseball games you've been to, but they have a thing where they have the automatic balls and strikes, but a batter can also challenge a ball or a strike if he thinks it's incorrect. And they'll put it up on a scoreboard, and they'll show the strike zone, and they'll show the travel of the flight of the ball and whether it was a ball or a strike. And if the ump got it wrong, he has to reverse it.
And it literally takes 2 seconds to do that. Chris Burke's in favor of that, by the way. It takes, and you get per at bat, you get one pitch where you can do it. I went to a preseason game in Clearwater, Florida, Grapefruit League, which I love. Grapefruit League better than Cactus League. Sorry. represent Grapefruit League. Anyway.
But why would a batter only get to challenge one bad pitch?
I don't know.
That makes no sense to me.
I don't know. That's what they're doing now in pro ball.
Well, if the bad pitch is strike 3, I mean...
Let me ask you something as a Cardinal fan. Did you expect this season to happen, that you guys are playing good ball?
Define good ball. Because to me, good ball is competing to win a World Series.
Well, okay, you're a Cardinal fan. All right. You're kind of in the postseason, kind of like, sort of hanging around. You're watchable this year, okay?
Yeah, but the message before the season was we're going to play all our young guys and take our lump.
But they're not doing it.
And
right, they're not doing it.
I don't know. This doesn't look like a rebuild.
No, they started winning.
On our front office, I'd talk all day, Tony.
They started winning. That's that's kind of what happens, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're better than we thought we were. Hey, either we're rebuilding or we're not. I hate when pro organizations kind of get in the middle. The Phillies are spending all this money and suck. So I'm kind of jealous of the Cardinals a little bit.
I don't know, man. The middle, like you said, the middle kind of sucks because I'll be honest with you, the Cardinals owners are. You think Danny White's money hungry? Go read up about Bill DeWitt.
Oh, I listen to Bernie Miklasz. I watch Bernie Miklasz on YouTube, and he rips the hell out of them. Are you a Bernie Miklasz guy? Yes or no?
I'm a fan of anybody that speaks the truth, to be honest.
He speaks the truth.
Look.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And he doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, all the media up there in St. Louis are shills for the ownership, though. So
well, they're afraid. They're afraid. That's a college market when it comes to their baseball. It's the closest thing to college football I've ever seen with Major League Baseball. The way those people consume their Major League Baseball, they watch it with a passion and a knowledge and an unsurpassed knowledge in that fan base of that sport. You're not going to fool St. Louis Cardinal fans. There's just too much history and tradition there. But listen, I appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
Hey, no problem.
You're a man, Nick. Thank you. Good talking to you. Go ahead, Bri.
With the robo umpires, will there be a home plate umpire to determine safe or out at home, or whether a batter gets hit by a pitch or not?
This is strike zone, Bri, only. It's not. The rest of that stuff's all.
There'll still be an umpire there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what? I would wonder if an umpire. I mean, it seems to be a lot of pressure. I wonder if an umpire would actually like that taken off of his plate.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I think that it's going to help pitchers a lot more than it's going to help hitters, Sean. That would be my sense of it. And I do think those guys, some of those guys are very power hungry. There is no doubt, Sean, that umpire we had, here you go, thank you. There is no doubt that umpire that we had the other day had an axe to grind against Tennessee. Now, it wasn't why they lost. Let's do the Jeremy Pruitt story. So yesterday, Sean, a guy called and said that he was listening to A.J. McCarron's podcast. McCarron got to telling a story about Jeremy Pruitt. He said, during my recruitment, he said Nick Saban sent Jeremy Pruitt to my driveway to babysit me because I was committed to them. He said, and so right before signing day, Lane Kiffin, Lance Thompson, and a couple other offensive assistants showed up knocking on my window. The old days of recruiting, Sean. Knocking on my window. And he said, and I let them in. They came in the house. They gave their pitch. They're visiting with my mom, my family, the whole shebang. He said, so Nick Saban calls later that day, and I say, yeah, well, the Tennessee coach, he goes, what? The Tennessee coaches, huh? Yeah, the Tennessee coaches, they're... He goes, that's impossible. He goes, Jeremy Pruitt's guarding He's guarding you right now. He gets on the cell phone with Pruitt. You're going to love this, Sean. He says, Jeremy, I thought you're guarding and watching. Did you fall asleep? Tennessee's coaches were just there. He goes, Jeremy, go knock on that door right now. He's really pissed off at him. Go knock on that door right now. Pruitt goes and knocks on the door, and some 80-year-old lady answered the door, Sean, and said the McCarrons don't live. I don't know anybody by that name. He was in the wrong address, the wrong place, Sean. Are we for or against Jeremy Pruitt at this point?
Oh, there's never been a more lovable dullard, moron, incompetent boob that's ever been a head coach. I mean, the only one more incompetent is whoever hired him.
How great are old recruiting stories? Because a guy wrote me an email today on the blog I put up there about how he pines for the old days of recruiting, where it was interesting, where it was you had bagmen, where it was.
Well, here's one for you.
So
I got
much
one for
fun.
you.
Yeah.
So I won't say any names here, but part of my thing was I would go pick up recruits from the airport, and they would hand you what was called a word picture, and some assistant worked in a recruiting office would do this. So this word picture would be, somehow the description of the kid, and they would talk about all the relevant decision makers, his parents' name, where he went to high school, where he went to JUCO, what number. So you could make small talk, because I had to drive him back from, and it wasn't just for me. It was this thing went to GAs and everything else. So when I'm driving back into the van, the university van, we used to house them over at the, I guess it was the Holiday Inn World's Fair site at that time. And so you go in there, and and if their parents were involved, so you would know their mother's name, and because the last thing you want to do is call them the wrong name. Well, we take them. I go pick up a couple of them. There would be a couple of guys that picked up a few at a time, a couple of different vans. We go down to, the thing was to go down to Calhoun's on the river on the upper deck, on the upper floor where they do the catering. And we got this assistant coach that keeps calling the recruit's mother the wrong name. Like, say her name was Mabel, and he's calling her Cheryl. And just yucking it up, putting his arm around her, calling her Cheryl and all this stuff. And I'm looking, I'm coming out of my skin trying to get him to shut his freaking mouth. But it's an assistant coach, and I'm just a stupid manager. And it was obvious that he didn't read the word picture, and he's schmoozing like a salesman. Cheryl this, Cheryl that, and you could see everybody just turning, just getting uncomfortable with it. And I don't know how it ended. We didn't get the kid. It probably wasn't for that reason, but there are a million stories like that. And I had another one. This is a great one. So we were recruiting these two JUCOs. Eddie Blake, who was an incredible offensive lineman, ended up at Auburn, and I think they were at Northwest Mississippi, and his teammate was a guy named Dan Footman. Dan Footman was about 6'4", 6'5" defensive end, just all world coming out of JUCO. And he shows up, and he's got a knife wound that goes basically from his shoulder to his elbow. It was a weeping wound. And you just talk, you're trying to make conversation, and this guy's wound is just bleeding all over the place. And and it finally says, "Hey, Dan, what happened there?" And he goes, I got mixed up with the wrong girl, and we're recruiting this guy, and he got shanked the night before. Just all sorts of crazy stories like that.
Hey, Cinco, do you know how much fun a podcast with old recruiting stories would be?
Oh, it was literally the best time. I mean, I know you got to say your kids being born and
old
all
school
that
college
stuff.
football.
It was the best time of my life.
Old school college football, Sink. The romance of that, the fact that we were able to kind of live and that you saw the inside of it. Good gosh almighty.
Here's another one. Really, you remember a guy named Ricky Waters? He's from up your area.
Of course, yeah. Ricky
Running
Waters.
back, he played Bishop something.
He's from Harrisburg. He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Played Notre Dame.
Yeah, Harrisburg. Exactly. Went to Notre Dame. He came on a recruiting visit. And, this is no cell phones at this time. This is the late 80s. And so late 80s, early 90s. I can't remember his. But anyway, he left his school ball cap in the cafeteria. And we're trying to track him down, because any little thing that can go wrong, everyone's except for this coach with the Cheryl thing, but every little thing is so hyper important that you don't want to make one slight misstep to tick somebody off that might give them a reason not to come to your place. I mean, we were all over Knoxville trying to return Ricky Waters' ball cap, for his high school ball cap back to him. It sounds stupid, but man, those things were so much fun.
Now, Ricky Waters is famous in Philly lore. Like, if you walk up with a Philly fan and you say, for who, for what? And they're an Eagle fan with any, recollection back to the 90s. So he played at San Francisco. Eagles got him as a free agent in the mid-90s, kind of the lean mid-90s for the Eagles. And there was a game at the end of the game, Sean, where he short-armed a ball going across the middle. And he goes, the media kept asking him about it. And finally, he snaps and he goes, y'all on me? Y'all on me? Because that's how he talked. He had that Harrisburg kind of twang thing. And he didn't care. He was very, very outgoing. Ricky Waters was. He goes, you wanted me to stretch out for that ball? For who? For what? For the fans? I mean, hell. He's like, I got a free safety bearing down on me, and you want me to stretch out for the fans? For who? For what? And he kept saying it, Sean. And that pissed those people off.
How'd that go over in Philly?
That did not go over real well. So now when you talk to an Eagle fan and you go, for who, for what? They'll go, oh, that's Ricky Waters.
Can you imagine if Cam Newton would have been playing for the Eagles in that Super Bowl when he didn't fall on that ball?
He would have gotten egged at the airport with those nuts.
Oh, he'd have gotten more than that.
I mean, those people.
He'd have been lucky to get egged.
Those people are nuts. But Cinco, great job today. He's SEAN Sinclair, DDS, beautiful Maryville. The Vols got a commitment while we were on. Tony Vols was only supposed to come on for 15 minutes, but he got what do you call it? It's like a therapy session with yours truly, a living, breathing counselor. Always have been. Brian Hartman
for
tomorrow.
The people, Tony B. Always have been for the people.
We got the coach on from Murray State tomorrow, Brian. Yes or no? Talk to me. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, hopefully in the first hour, right off the bat.
And hopefully John Adams doesn't. How many times will John work LSU into the conversation, Brian, with the guy from Murray tomorrow? What's the?
I just hope you get a chance to ask every question you want to ask him, Tone.
What's the total over at VIP play on the amount of LSU mentions?
Probably.
LSU,
I would say minus. I would say 3.5 to 4.
John, we got it. We got it.
By the way, they might have to end up playing LSU. They're on the same side of the bracket.
We get it. We get it. We all get it. Cinco, thanks, babe.
Thanks for having me, Tony. Always a pleasure and a privilege to be on with you, too.
Love, love, love. Love, 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 Brian. To my friends at TLD Logistics, love, love, love. Online at tldlogistics.com. Till we meet again, for all those behind the scenes, my name's Tony. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you. Thank you for being a friend. Tell a friend about what we do, like the fellow in Nick down in Memphis who found us. There are thousands and thousands of Nicks out there as we continue to grow. Tell them about our program. Hey, these guys, they keep it raw. But try to keep it, try to keep it upbeat as well. You can thread that needle. Enjoy sport and enjoy each other. and then yell and scream at each other sometimes and act like damn fools. So, and I like to do both. Love you. Appreciate you. Peace. G to the B to the O, and long live Tony Vo. Appreciate you. Or I could have said long live Tony Vitello. That would have worked too. Viva Tony Vols. Buddy of mine texted me. He goes, man, hearing you suck up to Vitello there and telling him he had a great season. He goes, you are a damn clown. I got some friends that'll keep me honest now. They will straight up keep me honest. And I mean straight up keep me honest. Appreciate you. Peace. Oh, you know what I got to do? I got to hit play first. I'm off my game here. I'm off my game. Do you know anybody that when they're trying to say M words, they say it with an N? Off my game. Let's see here. Ricky Waters. He goes, for who? For what? For who? For what? You want the fans? For the fans? I got to reach out for the fans? Try to catch them for the fans? It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. He's known as for who, for what now in Eagle fandom. Which, I mean, I got to say. And he got blasted and ripped and eviscerated and everything else. He was one great, and I mean great football player. He was great at Notre Dame. I could see Johnny Majors really wanting a Ricky Waters. That would compute for me. That was back in the days where running backs really, really weren't important. Valued, drafted highly, very much a part of what you did. I better get off the air here.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM.
Translator W259AB.
Powell, Knoxville.
We've got a freaking great show for you today.
Freaking. Tony,
a great show. Unbelievable,
show.
Andy.
For those of you that are inclined.
I mean, it's unbelievable,
Have you heard
Andy.
about? Oh, never mind.
Tony Vitello, the Eagle will land today. Right on top of you in just a few minutes. We'll talk with Tony. And Sean Sinclair, if the early indications are any indication, Tennessee is getting after it. They're rolling their sleeves up, and they're going hard in that transfer portal.
Well, I really think they need to, and I first of all, I congratulate the Vols, and I would say this if you allow to Coach that what a great season, what a great collection of memories, and we tend to look at this baseball program with the standard that was set last year, and that's impossible. If you take a look at the rest of the nation, we outperform. I mean, we get to super regionals. No team made Omaha this year that was there last year. Incredible season, not what we wanted, but incredible. But you take a look at his success. 3 of his 4 college transfers made first-team All-American by perfect game. Doyle, pitcher of the year. Fisher and Gavin Keelan were named first-team. Keelan were named All-Americans. And I heard Coach last year or earlier this year talk about how because of winning the championship, because of the celebration, because of some other things, they weren't able to hit it, the transfer market like they would like to have last year, and because of just time in the calendar. And so I really look forward to this. I don't follow football recruiting much more, but my love for portal recruiting has taken over.
Portal's where it's at, man.
If they can get that ETSU kid that throws like I sat there and watched. I mean, thinking back to Kent Tekulve.
You loved him, Cinco. You shouted him out the next day. You came on here and shouted him out.
That guy spellbounded our potent offense. So